It is week 4 of the Nuff Said podcast, and I am your hostess with the mostest, Adam Dickens, and this is the best co-host on the planet, in the universe, whatever you want to say, in the multiverse, Trey Adams. How are you doing, sir?
Chilling.
Absolutely glad to do this podcast with you this week. First, I would like to say thank you to Sonorous Wave for the intro song for the YouTube video and just in general. You guys are amazing. Great music all the time. Make sure you check them out. They're based in Charlotte. It's a giant music collective. Again, check them out. All right. Again, my name is Adam Dickens. That is Trey Adams, and we are rocking episode 4. Let's roll with it. First, before we even get into it, make sure you guys go follow all social media. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything you can think of. We are right there, posting clips daily, 3 to 4 clips a day. We want to give you as much entertainment as possible, and that's what we're going to do. So that's what we got.
And on Spotify for y'all. So if y'all want to sit in the car, driving somewhere, you just need something to listen to. Look, we here for that too. We on there too.
Absolutely. Spotify. I'm a big YouTube guy, so I'm always playing it off YouTube. I do Spotify too, but I don't know. It's something about being able to see. You can see the actual video on Spotify, not just the audio. So that's how we rocking. All right. So we're a little bit past the finals, a few days after. What are we thinking of? What's the feeling post finals? You know, the NBA championship is over. And I would say myself before, I tossed the baton to you. I just feel, I don't know. I'm lackluster or just blah, incomplete. Like usually I'm hyped. I'm excited. The finals are over, and I just watched some great basketball. But I'm just not feeling that way. So Trey, let me know how you feel, man.
Well, I mean, I gotta boast the whole 4-1 thing. You know, when you're right, you're right. So I'm definitely gonna continue to emphasize that to as much as I possibly can, because you know what guy doesn't want to be right, you know. But yeah, I get what you mean by that, though. It's crazy. I actually get what you mean by that, in the sense of a number 1 seed kind of breezing through the finals, and you feel like by the time the NBA season starts next winter or fall, it's like, who are you going to remember the champion? Are you going to be like, who won in 2023? You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's I get what you mean by it's kind of like right now in regards to who actually is the champion. But no disrespect to Denver. Glad they did win it. Glad Joker got his ring. Jamal, everybody. Glad it happened. But you feel like it's like it was expected in a way. So I get like, it's like, here you go, keep it moving.
I agree with you, bro. We feel the same exact way when it comes to it. I think I just feel that way because it was the Denver Nuggets, and you know, no offense to the champs, to the champions, the kings of the NBA right now. But there's nothing sexy about the Denver Nuggets winning the championship. Like, there's nothing exciting. Like, Jokic, it's great to watch Jokic. Like, you know, if you're a real basketball head, it's nice to watch. But there's nothing sexy about it. Like, it's not a Ferrari. It's more like a Honda Civic, like a 98 Honda Civic. It's not a Ferrari or a Porsche. That's what I'm feeling. And, you know, Jamal Murray, like, let's be honest. Damn. Let's be honest, when it comes to Jamal Murray, we don't think about how great he plays on the court. Like, the thing that, and maybe I'm terrible for this, but I keep going back to that bubble head that was just crazy, dog. Like, that's what I think about. I think about what going on Twitter when the video came out of him getting his shit sucked, okay? And that's what we watch. And I don't know. I'm tripping, bro. I mean, shout out to his fiance or girlfriend. I'm not sure what they are. But if we're being honest, she's the real MVP of the Nuggets. Like, I feel like this man gets his superpowers from her. And she's just the real MVP, man. Like, it's something about a good head suck that just like makes you play a lot better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing like.
I hope he's still with her, by the way.
No, he is. Yeah. Would you leave, son? I'm not going nowhere. We in there. We locked in. We locked in for life.
And that's why he was locked in during them games, because he was going home to that.
Man.
So I mean, like you said, it's they won. It was better for them to win than the Heat. Of course, everybody would have loved the Cinderella story, blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. Better team won, and now we're at the point where it's just like, again, in a year or two, we are going to ask who won in 2023, but the Joker got his, and now we got to deal, or the league has to deal with the repercussions of that, which gets me to the part of what is going to be the league's being the other team's response to them being one superstar and the one star and then the rest role players. Because let's be real, Joker's a superstar and Jamal Murray is a star. And that's a big difference between superstar and star. And now with the new CBA and everything that's about to happen, we're literally getting into a point where the super teams are kind of dying off and coming to an end. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not trying to mess the groove up. I gotta hit it in reverse, man. I'm so sorry, man. But it makes me think, I can't get over this, that I think that she saves the good sucks for like the playoffs. Because if you think about it, as far as the correlation between that and like his performance between regular season and playoffs, you know what I'm saying? Like you're a grown man in a marriage, so am I. And like, you know, that little extra pep in your step like you get from like you know what I'm saying, a good suck. You know what I'm saying? And you like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can right now. But like, I just felt like I walk a little bit different. And I feel like maybe that's him in the playoffs. Like she just, you know, puts a little extra.
Well, I mean, you know, he ain't shoot that great. Hold up.
You know what I'm saying?
That great,
but compared to regular season. But yeah. Anyways, back to your question. Could you re-ask that? I think you did a great job. I just had to. I don't want to mess the group up. I did, so I'm sorry.
I had to get that up.
I had to.
With what Denver just did, in regards to how their team is structured, did they show a new model for the league in regards to how to build a team and how to keep a team and how to win a championship? We kind of saw this a little bit with Milwaukee and how they built around Giannis in a way. They got the pieces that they needed to win a championship around him with kind of homegrown players a little bit, or players they found, and then they brought in a couple extra pieces. Denver, on the other hand, they kind of had their pieces for a while, and then they just gelled after they failed a couple times, and then they succeeded. Did they create a new structure for how teams will be built moving forward due to the new CBA, which again is only really allowing 2 super max contracts? So now people that mid-level contract, that $5 to $15 million, that's dying. That's slowly going to be dying. So it's really going to be either role players getting the veteran minimum, or you're going to be getting some extravagant contract above 20 mil, over 25 mil. So it's kind of limiting teams in regards to role player wise. So again, what's your take on Denver possibly resetting how the league is going to be moving forward?
I don't think they have reset anything. I think the last 3 years have shown you, if anything, you got to have a team that's homegrown and not created, pretty much. You can't skip the process. Okay, I'm not talking 76ers. I'm not, trust me. I'm talking about, if you look at Denver, everything was homegrown about them, right? Mm-hmm. This is a core that they've wanted to stick with. They've made some slight additions and, you know, a couple of differences, but everything is homegrown, including Jokic, who's just developed over time, and they stuck with him. Jamal Murray, they didn't give up on him just because he had a slight setback. They stuck with him, and they home grew that core. Now let's go back a year, okay? If you want to talk about the Warriors, everything about them is homegrown except the KD years. But other than that, Draymond was drafted, Clay was drafted, and Steph was drafted. Everything else is still just solid moves, no like crazy trades, right? That is a homegrown core. If you want to go to Milwaukee Bucks, that is a homegrown core. Okay, you wanted to stick with Middleton, even though he's not the craziest superstar on the planet. He's not super exciting. And Giannis, that was one of the biggest parts of the core, right? That was homegrown. They developed him. I remember when he was skinny as a stick, and that muscle mass was crazy when he actually was working it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Paul. Sorry, that was. God, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
But
he's on the road tonight.
But he trained himself, right? He trained himself and got that muscle mass he needed, and just developed skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along with that is, the only exception you have to these homegrown teams, if we're honest, is LeBron. He is the exception, and he just so happens to be. Yes, he just so happens to be the GOAT, if we really want to talk about it. So he is the exception. But everything else, if you're another team that doesn't have LeBron, you need to be homegrown. It takes time. You can't just skip the steps and just want to be like Brooklyn and put 3 superstars together and just hope for a championship. We saw how that worked out. It's about chemistry. It's not about crazy trades and risking the finances for your franchise for 5 to 10 years.
And I disagree with that. I disagree. The moment you started talking, I disagree. But some of that had to do with, again, I think if you get the right pieces together, that's what GMs. And I'm seeing more and more GMs being more player oriented. They're being players going from actually playing to actually being a GM, assistant GMs. And then getting the actual GM job, like in Atlanta, you got who is it? You got Cal Korver down there being the GM, it's Aaron Landry Fields, if I'm not mistaken. So you have players actually being in this position to actually relate with these with the situation at hand, and I think you can build a team around good pieces if they fit. You can't just put superstars together and just say, go make it work. Y'all got one basketball, make it work. No, that's not going to happen. And again, obviously egos and all that comes into come into play and is a factor there. But I do believe you can't put the superstars together. But also, again, if it's a good fit, I think you can. Again, we haven't seen that necessarily because these superstars today, or these old, I feel like our generation, our superstars is just their ego is too much. You can't do it. And I think the new generation is going to be way even worse. Like they're not going to be able to mesh at all. But I do think you can do it. It just has to be the right fit. I do think you can. I do.
I agree with you just because, for example, I think the Miami, the Heatles, right? I think they were a great fit. Mm-hmm. And that's why it really worked. Not just because it was LeBron, but LeBron has a big portion of why the Heatles, worked. But I think that they weren't a perfect fit. Like Chris Bosh, if we're being honest, Chris Bosh wasn't the perfect fit for the Heatles. Like honestly, they could have used somebody with a little bit more defense and more of a physical presence than Chris Bosh was, because his post game just didn't. It just wasn't a perfect fit. They could have had someone like if Dwight Howard, right? If Dwight Howard's still in his prime, somebody like him, I think would have been a little bit more of a fit. But I get what you're saying. I think ideally it would work if they were perfect fits, but I don't think that situation will ever see that situation pop up, because it takes the perfect people. And it takes the perfect fit as far as play on the court. And I think specifically that's why Brooklyn messed up, was because KD, Kyrie, and Harden just thought it was AAU ball, and we just going to take the best players in the county, or this part of the state, and just think we about to ball out. But their skill sets somewhat didn't perfectly, specifically Harden and Kyrie, kind of overlap. And that's why it didn't work out. That's why the Celtics aren't working right now, is because the skill sets overlap. And that's just what it is. So, no, I agree with you. I wouldn't say we necessarily disagree. I think it's the perfect idea, just no execution. And it's a hard execution to kind of figure that out, just to put superstars and just hope they're a good fit.
So I want to take this little brief moment. We got Francisco in the chat. He said he wanted us to talk about, or just random question about the cat situation. And he said that the Timberwolves run of 2022 to make the playoffs was more special than this championship for Denver. Hell to the motherfucking no. That he need to shut up and stay his behind and worry about his situation in Minnesota, because he about to get traded anyway. But no, nobody cares about no little AFC barely making the playoffs. They didn't make no noise. No, Cat need to worry about his own game and not worry about talking about, oh, this Denver championship not being as best as, or being as known as the Timberwolves. Nobody's even thinking about them. But to answer your question, no, that's on me. Your take on that?
Francisco, I'm gonna let you know right now, okay? I think that Pat Bev and Cat are in this like collusion together to just say as much nonsense as possible, whether it's for views or apparently they're best friends. So I think it's just they want to say the wildest stuff. That's like Pat Bev saying that Cat was the craziest big man scorer ever. Like, man, you got. What? I'm starting. Yes, he said that. I promise you.
I remember reading it. It was like, what are we talking about here?
Pat Bev said that Cat at any point you could blink and he go for 40. First off, this is a lie. I'm not saying Cat's trash. I'm saying he's not that guy, and that's exactly what it is. So they're both using each other to say a whole bunch of. They gotta be tight. This is the only reason why they're saying these things. Pat Bev is delusional at times, even though I think he's a very smart guy. He's delusional. Cat he wants to be way more important than he is, and unfortunately,
he wants to be Embiid. And the sad part is he could have been that, and then he got soft. He came into the league. He was getting 20 and 20. He was balling, and then out of nowhere, one summer magically happened, and he was just like, "Oh snap! I could shoot a 3." And now he wants to be Dirk. And it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Get yourself together. Get yourself together. No center should be shooting 8 to 10 times a game. But to answer your question, Francisco, I do believe they're full of crap. And yeah, he's just talking, just trying to stay relevant in the offseason. But he's gonna stay relevant because he's about to get traded. Don't worry about it.
I mean, if you really want to be honest, he's about to get traded. Pat Bev is a free agent at the moment, and he's hoping somebody will give him, I don't know, like a decent contract. He just want to stay in the league, if we're being honest. I mean, I do like vets, but as far as the trend of a defensive-minded vet on a team, it's just not popular. It's not trending right now. So, best of luck to Pat Bev. Big fan of the podcast, even though he be saying some crazy shit. Cat just be changing his voice. My man just his what's the term when you hit 13? You hit, his puberty just be going in and out. That's what that is. My man don't know. He's just confused. They both just confused, man.
I'm glad you said the word confused, because we're gonna go into the next topic of Jimmy Butler and his comments about. I'll let you explain his comments. Go ahead.
So Jimmy Butler comes out and says that even though if he wanted Jimmy Butler comes out and says that even if he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, that he wouldn't go. Oh my! Why would someone say something like that? So what fool? Man, I don't want to give my comments away yet, because I'm probably really gonna go off. You know how I do, but just go ahead, man. Give us the starter, and I'll cap off.
You get inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, and you're not gonna go to that ceremony. There's no way. That's literally what you play this game for, is it not? You don't play this game for the money, or not everybody. Usually don't play it for the money. They don't play it for just the go home and act like it never happened. No, you want to be remembered. You're not gonna sit there and say if you was inducted into the Hall of Fame, you would not go to the ceremony. Literally, that is your one moment to literally point to everybody who said you ain't shit and never gonna be shit, and literally say I did it. Let alone if you know Jimmy Butler's story about him being homeless as a teenager, not being highly recruited out of high school, and then going to college and having to go to JUCO and things like that. Dude, come on. There's no way you're not gonna go to that ceremony. I think that's just nonsense. The same way it was nonsense of him every game saying, "Oh, we only lost game 1. Oh, we only lost game 3. There's only 2 games. Oh, we only lost game 4." That's just his way of trying to keep himself cool and collective. I do think he is that kind of person, personality-wise, but again, you feeding nonsense at that point, and it's we can obviously tell that was nonsense. That was one of those nonsense remarks.
I 100% agree with you. My biggest problem with it is this entire month or this whole NBA trend of being too cool for school, thinking that you're above stuff just because you got money and you're just too cool for it. That's what essentially was going down now, and it's the same thing with him not wanting to go to the Hall of Fame. I get Jokic just wants to go home, but what are we playing for, bro? Everybody's just above everything, and I don't like it. I really don't. To me, I'm kind of disappointed in Jimmy Butler because you look at him and you watch the way he plays, and he really seems like someone who loves the game, right? He really seems like he loves the game. Mm-hmm. And for him to say he wouldn't go to the Hall of Fame ceremony, that's the whole point of you playing the game. The greatest of the greats are there, and you just don't want to go. That's what we play for, and I feel like it's the whole too cool for school is just kind of whack. The same reasons why he grew up wanting to play basketball, and his situation growing up. That's the people he was looking up to. And to be honest, with this last performance from Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, he should be thankful to even have a chance to go to the Hall of Fame.
Facts.
And the ceremony. First off, it'd be nice to see your dad. It'd be nice to give MJ a hug. Maybe a little dust rubs off.
That's just said that in the chat too. But I was like, I think the DNA test. I think in the final, the DNA test results came back that he said he wasn't his son, and that's when he started playing like shit.
Francisco, we just on the same page. That's all. I didn't even see it in the chat, man. I didn't even see it in the chat. We just on the same page. Roger's too cool for school, man. I can't do this.
I like that. I like that saying. He is definitely the key. He is the headline and the king of that quote right there.
Before we go further, that's what you say about high school or college graduation, right? That type of stuff. Me personally, I didn't want to go to my high school graduation. I was ready to get out of there. We over with. But that's high school, not the top of the top. I get the aspect of small, ceremonies or frivolous awards or something like that. I get if Michael Jackson skips the BET Awards, we good with that. But he not skipping, getting give me a Grammy. He's not. Michael Jackson ain't skipping the Grammys.
Facts.
Jimmy Butler wants to skip the NBA Hall of Fame ceremony. Nah, I can't. I'm not buying it. I think he put on the front. I think he would go. I don't care what nobody say. I think he's just saying stuff.
And speaking of fronts, I think the Joker with his comments about wanting to go home so soon, I think that's just part of his plan. That's just all part of his view on or what he wants to give the public in regards to how he carries himself. He carries this like a 9-to-5 job. I love it. I told you I love it. He's like, look, it's over. Time to go home. I don't want to do no parade. I just want to go home and play with my horses, feed my horses. Like, he acting like he forgot to feed his horses and he ain't got nobody there taking care of him. Like, I gotta go. Your family's here. What you need to go home for? Chill out. Enjoy the moment. I gotta go.
But I think it's hilarious. I think his whole setup is hilarious. But at the same time, I get it. I actually think it's genuine. I don't think it's fake. Just because the international like state of mind of like, bro, where he lives, like the air is different. The air is different in Serbia, bro. Like I feel like he misses like I don't know, going to milk the cows and like go pull his eggs out like that. He misses that. I think it really is genuine. Specifically, like you live in Denver, like nothing about Denver really fits him.
Denver's a nice and beautiful place. I'm gonna live there one day, but go ahead, my bad.
But it just doesn't, I think he really just misses the genuineness of being home and the NBA season being 82 games, or is it 72? Didn't they lower it or something like that?
No,
or is it next season? Next season? Okay. 82 games, that's a long season. So I think Jokic just wants to genuinely just go, he just wants to go home. And like, we see like the interview questions, like when he rolls his eyes in the reporters' interviews, I think that's genuine because again, he's not like, it's a different mindset.
Until June. He ain't used to playing till June.
That's a fact. That's a fact. He ain't used
to playing this long. He used to losing in the first and the second round. And he out of here by the end of April, beginning of May, and he used to being home by now. But this time you made it to the finals. You'll be all right, big guy. You'll be all right. You'll live.
You know what I also think with that too is that he could honestly, Jokic could retire in 2 to 3 years. Like the money he's got, he'll be just fine. Like if he retired when his contract is over with, which I'm not sure when it is, I'm assuming the next 2 to 3 years.
I wouldn't be. It's through 2028.
I wouldn't be surprised if he even retires early because he might have an option at the end of that. It could be. It's probably a player option. He could maybe a little bit early.
His extension just kicked in. He just finished this year. He just finished making around between 30 to 32 mil. And his extension goes up to the Supermax deal. So he's going to be at that 45 to 50 range. And again, that starts this year, like this upcoming season. So again, he ain't even really make the big bucks yet, but he definitely has over 150 mil career earnings so far. Don't ask me why I know this, but I actually looked it up on my spare time. Don't ask me why.
Now, at the same time, right? Let's just say I'm not sure you transition U.S. dollars to whatever Serbia has, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more, and bro can do a lot more. What I'm saying is, like, the money to me, if he doesn't think like the interviews mean anything, hell, he didn't want to go to the parade. Now he's taking that back, but. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. So, and if he really cares about his racing horses, like, I just think I wouldn't be surprised if he just called it quits really early on some Luke Kuechly type, Andrew Luck type stuff, and just say it's over. Because has he had any major injuries? I don't think he has. So
that man can't get injured. He'll shake it off. He's a European in a good way. He'll just shake it off and act like he's not injured, and you won't ever even know until probably his career is over that he played in the finals with a broken finger or something. They don't complain. They love their job. They just know that all show it like he does. He doesn't. But I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Bro been drinking that Serbian milk, saying his bones strong.
We all need to be drinking that shit.
Yeah, we got next, man. What we got?
So next we got the.
You want to do awards?
Sure. Next we got the NBA Playoff Awards. So this little segment we got is pretty much just us talking about who we think, based off of the award, obviously, in the playoffs only, not regular season, only playoffs. Who would this award go to? Again, we ain't gonna go necessarily why for each one because we gonna be here all night doing that, explaining why. But just the award, what the award is for, and then who you got.
let's let you can do a little small explanation. We ain't not gonna ask questions. We just unless it's something horrendous, like you say D'Angelo Russell or something like that. Then we'll just keep going. All right, player. I need you to go first on this one just because I need some time to think.
All right, so the player that most impressed you during the playoffs, plain and simple, self-explanatory. My most impressed player, I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson.
Okay,
due to the fact of he showed he can lead a team and not just necessarily be the sidekick. I felt like we went into the playoffs, he was a sidekick. This other man on his team, I'm not gonna name him right now. Apparently, all NBA third team. All NBA third team, and he was the sidekick during the regular season, and then during the playoffs, he was the go-to. That to me is impressive because it shows you I could build a team around you. So I'm going Jalen Brunson.
Got you. I'm with you. I don't necessarily agree, but we'll keep it moving. Player that, not that he didn't impress me, he did impress me. Let me not take that away. Anyways, player that impressed me the most, you already know it. LeBron James impressed me, and I'll ride that to the moon. He impressed me not necessarily because of his performance, like game to game, but he impressed me based on the play style that he changed. This Lakers team, specifically the offense, is way different than what LeBron James teams have mostly been. He wasn't the main ball handler, and because of that, it impressed me. I feel like a lot of superstars have egos where they can't let that go. They always want to be the main ball handler. And I think what impressed me was he could pick his marks of when he wanted to, timely marks, almost like a chess match of really when to go off and say, hey, this is my moment. And it was almost like, like a boxer's counterpunch. Like it was smart. He chose his mark smart. That's a lot to say. But yeah, he was just very smart in how he chose to produce and when to produce, specifically because he's dealing with injury and he's old, whatever. Who cares about that? But I was impressed that he was willing to put his ego aside to play a different type of offense, and still contributed to winning basketball, except with the Nuggets. But yeah, go ahead.
Hello, was he not doing that his whole career? That's not impressive. He's been doing that shit for fucking 18 to 20 years already. What are we talking about?
In a different way.
Pray to God.
It's a different way.
He been
don't knock it, bro.
I'll let you rock with it. He been doing that shit forever. That's not
damn
impressive.
Right. It's still impressive.
You are arguably the GOAT. That's not impressive. You're supposed to do that. Put your team on your back and you do what you need to do.
If Michael Jordan would have did that with the Wizards, maybe they would have made it a little bit further. But go ahead.
Oh my God.
Hey, team that impressed you the most in the playoffs?
Kings. Even though they lost in the first round. I say Kings because they went toe-to-toe. Talking about a boxing match. They went toe-to-toe, took the blows from the Warriors, swung back, and again, they was going against the defending champs regardless, and a generational player instead. And I think they held their own. I think they walked away with the most respect. They feel like I feel like that was more of a Western Conference Finals than what the hell we experienced in the first place. But I think that they could walk away knowing they'll come back better. So I think I'm most impressed with the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would be impressed with the number 1 seed losing in the first round, but yeah, go ahead. Go off, King. So the team that impressed me the most, man, I got a 2-part answer to this, but I'm going to make it quick. I got the, obviously, I'm still riding with the Lakers. To me, they impressed me only because you're an 8 seed and you made it to Western Conference Finals. You beat. Oh, 7 seed. My bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, but not only that, you're a 7 seed. No, are you sure?
Yes, they played Vanfleet. Right. It was a 2 seed.
All right, I'll rock with it. First off, yeah, you did beat the 2 seed. Thank you for making a point for me. Then you went on to beat not only the 2 seed, but you beat the past year champs. Is that not impressive? You're the 7 seed. You beat the 2
it wasn't
seed.
a real team. They was broken down. But go on.
They still had the core, and you beat the. That to me, that's beyond impressive than most teams. Right? Is you come in as a low seed, 7 seed specifically. You beat the 2 seed in the Grizzlies. Okay, regardless of anything, regardless of Dylan Brooks. Right? They didn't let Dylan Brooks bully him. And then you beat the champs from the previous year. And
Yes,
let's be honest,
they ain't the same. Go on.
it doesn't matter. It's still Hall of Fame Steph Curry, and a broken down Klay Thompson, and made Jordan Poole disappear. Like that. That's way more impressive to me. My second parter, right? Teams that impressed me the most. I will give it to the Denver Nuggets because I'm gonna be honest. Coming into this year, my mindset, like many others, were that the Nuggets, specifically Jokic, just didn't have it in him. Like I always thought he played great basketball, winning basketball, specifically in the regular season. But to really come out and make a statement in the playoffs, and not only just play good, but execution in a championship, even though they played a weak team, but that's the point. They still had the execution that a lot of people wouldn't have. A lot of people would kind of choke that away, not being in that position ever before. To me, that's very impressive. Go ahead. Team that ghosted.
Hold up. I don't think the number 1 seed is being impressive, but okay. I just wanted to make that comment. Team that ghosted. I'm going to go with the Cavs. I was disappointed by them. I think I was expecting a lot more from them with their core that they have now. It is their first year together and getting playoff experience for a majority of them. But I was definitely disappointed of how that ended. So I'm going to go Cavs.
Again, I got a 2-parter just because you took my team, but I got to back up prepared. Cavs is definitely disappointed. I had them, bro. I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to do what the Kings kind of did this year, at least put up a fight. And the Cavs just disappeared. It was just specifically, disappointed in Mitchell, but whatever. Really, the whole team just disappointed in. Definitely, they ghosted. But my true answer, the Timberwolves, man, not because we expect them to do great, but you made this incredible trade to give up your entire future for Rudy Gobert. And, Cat's delusional ass, they just, they didn't come to play. It's a shame. You do have a lot of talent because I do think Cat is a good player, right? Anthony Edwards, everybody, the next Kobe, that's what everybody keeps saying. It's a lot of talent, and to have that, paying that much, to have so much invested as far as picks in the trade, to come out and get your ass whooped, it's just what it is. So, just team that ghosted, the Timberwolves. That's what you got.
Player
that ghosted. Go ahead. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
I'm going to go, it really pissed me off that D'Angelo Russell just couldn't play a lick of defense. Not that, the Lakers depending on him. I just want you to play some decent defense. And the previous series, when you played Steph, you played good defense. You, Schroeder, and Reeves really, held it down when it came going against Steph. And to just disappear like you did when it came to going against Jamal Murray, I mean, maybe it's the reason why, they're the champs this season. Is literally D'Angelo Russell gave it away. And, for a guy that, always wants to say he got ice in his veins, it ain't looking too good, buddy. It's not looking too good. So, I didn't like the fact that you disappeared.
I like that. I didn't even think of that. I like that. That's a good response to that. I'm going to go
Thank
with somebody I stated earlier. Julius motherfucking Randle.
Yep.
To be all NBA third team selected, and this is what we get from you in the second round. Y'all squeaked by the Cavs, and you get to play Miami, and it's a decent matchup. It's literally a decent matchup, and you go completely MIA. Off of what? Who was D'ing you? Bam wasn't necessarily D'ing you all the time. Bam is a good defender, full big, he's athletic, blah, blah, blah. But you're all NBA third team. Act like it. But he completely ghosted. They lost because of him. And I think they need to get rid of him and build around Jalen Brunson. Because he's a regular season beast, but then postseason he's just a freaking overpaid scrub. So he's ghosted.
I agree with you. The only pushback I'm gonna give you is he did come out, or not him, but pretty much came out and said that he's getting microfracture surgery. Which if it's a microfracture, like, you know what a small crack in a bone really does and why it might. But I said I agree with you because no excuses. It's the playoffs, and this is why I agree with you and want to double down even more on what you said, because all we heard from the Knicks the last couple of seasons is, oh, we're a part away. We're just one step away. We need offense. You get Jalen Brunson, who gives you that offense, and now you pretend like you don't know how to play defense, right? Julius Randle, that's what he's there for. And you can't play backup offense, right? You can't be the second option and do what you were when you were the man. To me, it screams ego. It screams a lot of things. But I do think that microfracture is important, but no excuses. So I agree with you even more.
One and done. The team that you feel like made the playoffs and ain't gonna be back, or this was just like they weren't supposed to be there. Long story short, I'm gonna go Timberwolves. I think they barely scooped in the first place. I think if they change their roster and just completely built around Anthony Edwards, absolutely they'll be back. But with what they currently have, nah, that shit is dead. That was your miracle, because the Thunder would have been a better team to watch against Thunder. I mean, against the Thunder would have been a better team against Denver than Minnesota was. So I think unless they completely change their roster and get rid of Cat, because they ain't getting rid of Ant-Man. So get rid of Cat. If they don't do that, they're one and done. That shit is dead.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not the team I picked. I would say I'm going to go out on a limb. We're going to get risky. Okay? I think the Kings are one and done. Not because I want them to be. I get they have a core. It's the Kings, man. It's the Kings. And I'm going to go with history and just say they aren't going to be relevant next season. It could be for whatever list of reasons you want to give. I just don't think that they're going to be back. They scream. They're giving Memphis Grizzlies from last year,
took
right?
them over freaking the Kings. What?
Nah, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not. I'm gonna go with Sacramento. They are the team that the California team that nobody cares about, and I do like watching them play. I'm with you. I know this is again a risky pick, but they scream Memphis Grizzlies, the same team that took and they put up a fight against the Warriors, right? That's what we saw last season. And I was super impressed with the Grizzlies. And the same thing kind of feels like with the Kings taking the Warriors to 7. Something just tells me, and this is what happens with small franchises, right? Small franchises, they get this taste and fans get super excited. And we just continuously see them get, blown up, and for whatever reasons, it's just not going to work. I can't give you extra reasons. That's just a vibe it's giving me. It's giving me Memphis Grizzlies from last year.
And because it's my next the next award is this team, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The next award is here, and I'm going with the Kings. I want to remain up here. I think if they was to play the Grizzlies in a series, I think they beat them. I think the Kings are better than the Grizzlies with Ja. I just think the Kings are a better complete team with their superstars on the court than the Grizzlies are with their superstar on the court. So I think from going nowhere to go but up award goes to the Kings for me. I think, again, there was a 3 seed. Nobody expected them to even make the freaking playoffs. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. Nobody did. There was a 3 seed. They was better than the Warriors. They was better than the Clippers, LA. Bro, they ain't going nowhere. And their core is staying together. The only thing they need to get rid of is damn Harrison Barnes non-shooting ass and get Bradley Beal or something. They ain't going nowhere. They'll be back. They'll be back.
But Trey, the people say that Sabonis doesn't have any tricks in his bag. He sucks. That's what the word is.
Pony. He gonna learn. He ain't been.
wait. That's your response. He gonna learn.
Because there's nowhere to go but up. Man. There's nowhere to go but up. It's the perfect award for them, especially for him. He was an all-star in Indiana. He could have been an all-star here, or was he an all-star here? I can't remember off the top of my head. But he's an all-star caliber. He puts up the stats to be an all-star. So with that being said, it's nowhere to go but up. Perfect. It's perfect. They'll be back. They'll be back. Who you got?
Up from here, I actually think my team I choose for the Up From Here award is the Cavaliers. I think the Cavaliers, I think a move I think they will make this year, and I think it was really obvious about how bad Jarrett Allen was this year, specifically in the playoffs. I'm not talking regular season. Is that I think they realized they need another guard or at least a defensive wing, something to just attribute a little bit more to what they have going on. And I think a defensive a wing or another offensive-minded guard, I think will attribute a lot more than what Jarrett Allen is doing.
A perfect would be a 3-and-D. I agree. A perfect would be a 3-and-D.
And I think if they made that move, that entire chemistry changes. I think Jarrett Allen's, if you've seen Jarrett Allen before, he's a happy guy. He's a good, soft, big guy. And that's not what they need. They need a little bit more attitude with their team because it is so young. And I think that kind of attitude will shift over to Mobley too. Mm-hmm. And I think that will just give that team an entirely different feel than what it had this year. Because right now, Jarrett Allen is just that happy vet that, soft as butter, but he got a little something, but it's not what that team needs. He's not what the Cavaliers need right now. That's just facts.
Agree. I like that. I'm gonna make this comment. I swear, if you would have said the Lakers, I would have took a shot. I would have took some out. I would have drunk something because I was gonna say I'm tired of hearing you mention these goddamn.
I don't talk about it much. Literally, this is the first podcast I talk about LeBron, but I haven't talked about the Lakers that much, for being honest. And they did make the Western Conference Finals and got beat by the champs, so they do look good. If I want to lose, I want to lose to the champs at least.
I guess.
Facts.
I guess.
All right, we're gonna keep it in the NBA. We're hearing a lot of trades, specifically leading up to this draft we got coming up soon. So we got some movement. Are we talking about who we think will get traded? I've heard a lot of Zion. I've heard a lot of Bradley Beal. What do we got?
I think Zion is out of New Orleans as he wants, and I think they give him what he wants, and I think they do. I'm hearing a lot. I'm reading so much about them wanting Scoot Henderson and wanting to get a top 3 pick specifically. And, it's only 2 teams that they could trade with because they ain't getting a number 1. So the only 2 teams they could trade with is either Portland or Charlotte. And both of them are in consideration because they don't expect Scoot Henderson to get past the 3rd pick, which I don't blame them because there's nobody really else left in the draft. That's just my opinion. I think this is a really shitty draft and it's only 3 people. So if they really want him, if you want to secure your point guard of the future, you trade Zion to the number 2, which is the Hornets, and you give him a fresh start, and you get your point guard. He can play next to. You could put CJ back to the 2. You got your point guard of the future. You still got a superstar. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, and Brandon Ingram. So you have something to build around. And again, you get rid of somebody who's obviously a salary cap dump in a way and who's injury prone. And yeah, you go from there. And I love that trade for Charlotte. I don't know what they're waiting for. I would have did this shit yesterday. They should pull that plug immediately.
Well, before we go further because I want to kind of know where to base this conversation at. How do we feel about Scoot Henderson? What are we thinking?
I think he is a.
I know his skill set, and I like what I see. But go ahead.
Yeah, I do too. I think he can score, not at will, but I think he can obviously score the ball from all different areas of the game as you need and what you want in your point guard now. He got to work on his passing a little bit more, get his teammates involved and stuff. But as a young player, I mean, that's all you're taught. If you're that go-to guy, all you're taught is to score. So at the NBA level, maybe that'll change. I mean, his assist average wasn't bad, but again, it could be better. But again, I think, I mean, again, if that's what you want, if that's what you feel like you need to complete your team, and again, the Pelicans, they do need a point guard. CJ McCollum is not a point guard. I do think Scoot would fit the Pelicans perfectly. I do, especially next to Brandon Ingram. He ain't got to worry about double teams and all that because Brandon Ingram getting it. So again, I do like that fit. I do. I think Scoot Henderson is a bucket. He definitely is a bucket.
What he gives, the vibes that Scoot Henderson really gives me is a more aggressive version of Anthony Edwards. That's really what he gives me. That's what that's the exact vibe he gives me. I'm not saying he's as good. That's just from what I'm seeing from watching his tape. That's what he gives me. A lot more aggressive, a little bit more like tucking the ears back and just going for it, right? Mm-hmm. Like a track star type of drive-ins. I think he's a bucket. I'm going to say this on this podcast, and it's going to be very controversial. But I will take Scoot Henderson over Victor Wembanyama. I'm just going to say Victor because I'm going to fuck this up. I'll take Scoot Henderson over Victor any day of the week. And this is why I say that, okay? I think Victor has an amazing skill set. You know, all these things you want to say about somebody, you know, he's got the dribbling to go with a physical skill set that we've never seen before, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't like these super skinny Applejack cinnamon like kids. I just don't like. They're one move away from their ankle, like going like it gives me Chet. It gives me Chet. Yeah. And I don't like that. Everybody wants to be tall and lanky and like 2K build. Like, no, give me a Scoot Henderson who, when I listen to his interviews, he screams dog. Like, he wants it. He really wants it. And he sees what people are saying about Victor, right? Mm-hmm. He sees that he's the underdog. I know for a fact that giving up isn't something that Scoot Henderson is going to do. I don't question him about if he's soft or not, because I know what he's capable of. And I want that type of kid. I want the effort, not necessarily the 2K build. and I think Scoot Henderson gives me that. You know, I'm 100% with it. And I think, speaking of that, if you want to compare that same mindset to what Zion gives, I want that mindset if I'm the Pelicans. I want Scoot Henderson's mindset versus the kid that's struggling to keep his weight down, right? The struggling to keep his dick down too, right? Someone who has a little bit more discipline. I'm gonna go for Scoot Henderson if I can get Zion out of here. To be honest, I wouldn't ask for a lot because I know if I keep Zion, I know what I'm gonna get. The same thing I've been getting for the past 2 to 3 years.
I'm gonna piggyback off what somebody just commented in the chat. What the hell are you smoking? Talking about something you take him over Victor? You are crazy out your damn motherfucking mind. Who? You're crazy.
Is it still
crazy?
Is this? Are we still? Is that Francisco or no?
No, this is a new. Damn, I can't get the words out. This is a new person, Troy $1. Appreciate you. You're crazy. You're crazy. There's no way you're taking him over Victor. I get he's hungry and all that. No, you're crazy. No. I get you on like the body type and all that. I think they're 1 injury away from snapping their whole body in half. I agree. I think they need to eat some. They need to go to Joker camp or something. I agree.
I'm gonna tell you right now. tell me someone else that he has a lot in common with. They're both from France, and they're both really soft as hell, and they're still very tall. Who does he? Rudy Gobert. That's what he reminds me of. Soft as shit, and he's even got less muscle mass than Gobert does.
You're an idiot.
And I guarantee you, in a year from now, a year to 2 years from now, we're gonna talk about how this kid just keeps hitting injuries. Like he's built like a fucking alien. If you don't think his meniscus is gonna tear in the first couple years, like he's gonna have continuous issues, whether it's his knees, whatever it is. He can't even tear a damn hamstring because his legs are so skinny. I don't even know if he got a hamstring. He just got bones and skin. Like that's my problem with it. And I won't scoop.
Adds $500 million to your team value the moment he signs a paper. You're crazy, and that's for
and we were saying the same thing about Zion when he joined the Pelicans. Did we not?
And when he's on the court, what does he do? The dude is a freaking cannon. He can't be stopped. He can't.
I agree with you, but the issue at hand is he's not on the court, and when he's off the court, he's the issue. So we got a kid who's great on the court, but he can't stay on the court. Okay,
and then when he's off, really talking about Zion getting a nut off with a porn star is an issue. That is not an issue. He's a grown man. He could sleep with, bang whoever the hell he wants. That ain't nobody issue. That ain't no.
This is why it's an issue, because instead of talking about the Pelicans in the playoffs, the biggest story coming from the Pelicans is that. That's why it's an issue. And it's even worse because we know he's not going to stay on the court. So we're going to keep hearing these issues. It's not going to go nowhere.
He don't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there.
Hey, bro, New Orleans is nice. No, New Orleans is nice. I don't care what.
He don't want to be there. That's it. He doesn't want to be there.
When those New Orleans girls hit you with that Cajun accent, bro, ain't nothing like it, man. It's just, man, I'm telling you, I've been there. It's nice.
Yeah, they take yourself in trouble. Go ahead. Keep talking about the older girls. Go ahead. Bradley Beal, where you think he going?
Man, I really want. I'm trying to think.
You got. I'm gonna name some teams for you. Go ahead. You got Miami. You got the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Clippers. It was just reported, during this stream, that Philly and the Celtics are not in on Bradley Beal. So
out of all the
5 teams, yeah.
Out of all the teams you said, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only one that I see as a fit is the Knicks. And I'm not confident about that, to be honest with you. Other than that, I feel like wherever he goes, it's the same issue that Celtics are having as far as like the same position, skill sets overlap. Not exactly, but somewhat, right? Go ahead.
Yes
wait.
And no. Are you? I said the Kings, Miami, and Bucks. If he goes to the Bucks, either Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton is going. If he goes to the Kings.
I'm good with the Kings. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with the Kings. Hey, you still gotta get rid of Sabonis though. I want Sabonis out. I don't care.
Oh my God, I don't care. Sabonis. 25 and 10. 25 and 10. What do you want? 20 and 10. I ain't gonna say 25. 20 and 10. What do you want from the guy?
Nice numbers.
I think the Kings are the perfect fit for him. I think if the Kings are serious about it, I think they should pull the trigger. Him going there, they could put Keegan Murray to the 3. And put Bradley Beal at the 2. They add another score for De'Aaron Fox. It takes the ball off of his hands. I think it'll be perfect. I think that's where he should go.
Wherever he goes, okay? Because I don't really have a favorite spot. Kings, I'd be good with. The Knicks, I'd be like a 7 out of 10 of excitement. Like it would be okay. I think that wherever he goes, to me, this is how I envision him, as a great, amazing number 2. And if they, as far as winning a championship, to me he has to be a number 2. He's not going to win a championship as a number 1. Complete out the window for me. As a number 2, I could honestly see him as like a Scottie Pippen prototype, right? Like plays great, solid defense. He's got some moves specifically, in that good middle range. I give him that, and I'm all with it. And I think again, he's another one I think has some dog in him where, specifically when you heard that speech that he was giving to the kids at his camp. I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah.
Amazing speech. If you never heard it, make sure you go look it up. But I just think he would be a good, solid number 2. If he's going to win a championship, he has to be a good, solid number 2. And I think he'd be a great Scottie Pippen counterpart to whoever the number 1 is. But I don't know where he'd go. I just don't. Kings would be great, but I don't know.
The last one for this topic, we got Dame. I keep hearing his name being brought up. I know that they were saying originally that they don't want to trade him. They want to build around him like freaking idiots. But that if he is traded, the possible teams you got being the Heat again. I'm hearing a lot about the Nets, Philly, Phoenix, and this sleeper team that I think would be a good fit for him, which would be Chicago. Out of those teams, I think the Nets and Chicago are his best fits, only because with the Nets, I think Mikal Bridges is becoming a star in the making. I think he showed that during the playoffs playing against Philly by himself, that he needs some help, but he can be a number 1 or number 2, whatever the heck you ask him to do, he'll do. So I do think he'll work out with the Nets. And in Chicago, get first thing that whatever everything Chicago's doing, they just need to rebuild. They just need to go somewhere. They just need to completely start over. So I just think Chicago is just a dumping spot. You could trade Zach, they could trade DeMar or something. But I just think again it's another possible fit. But again, they just gonna suck regardless. I'm not gonna hold you.
If I'm Dame, the only spot I will approve him going, he even kind of came out and said this, is Miami. That's the only spot I want to go, and I think that's perfect for him. The other spot I would like to see him, I agree with you on Brooklyn, just because to me his attitude, him being so connected to hip hop and rap, I think Brooklyn is the perfect spot for him. To me, he screams Brooklyn, as far as culture and just the vibe. I think he just matches, bro. That's perfect.
If Oakland, don't put him in no goddamn Brooklyn. Don't put him over in the hell. You just suck about.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Music. I'm with it. I'm with it, bro. I'm with it.
I like it.
And if he really wants to help his music career, because I think he puts out some good solid music. I think he's missing a little something. He's just one step away from. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's still playing basketball. I get it. But I think as far as musically wise, that would be a perfect spot. I think just he's a fit, culture wise. I already told you, I feel like him and Jimmy would be the perfect combo. Get rid of Tyler Hero, and that would be solid for me. I'd be happy. I'd be really happy if Dame went to Miami.
Somebody in the Troy Dollar said in the chat, Dame to the Spurs with Victor.
That'd be weird, man. That'd be weird. I'm not knocking it. I'm all for it. It's weird though. It's a weird fit for me. Maybe when Pop retires, I can see that.
He just signed a 3-year extension. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
What? To see what Victor could do.
Which is crazy because his wife. But yeah, go ahead. That's crazy.
Favorite off-season team. Next topic. Favorite off-season team to keep your eye on, or that you're closely watching. I'm gonna start this off. I do like how these young teams are building and shaping, and the ones that I'm gonna keep my eye on is down in Florida, and I'm gonna go with the Orlando Magic. And I think with them, they have some trade pieces. They have a young, good core. To build around. I think they can do what the Thunder just did in the West. I think they can completely have a tall lineup that plays well together, and they can build around that. For instance, if they was to go get a Fred VanFleet to mix in with that, to bring some experience to kind of expedite Pablo, Apollo, excuse me. I think that would be perfect. I really do. I think the Magic is my team that I think if they make the right moves, they're gonna be a number 5, 6 team in the playoffs. And in my opinion, again, you ain't gonna want to see them. They're gonna do what Cleveland kind of did this year, but again, it really depends on what they do when they get there.
Hey, L's in the chat. If you're watching this, L's in the chat. We don't give a fuck about Orlando Magic, son. We don't care about no 5-6 team in the playoffs. L's in chat. L's in chat. Hit it. Hey, 100%. I'm just playing with you, but it is really funny. I do think Orlando is a perfect come up team. They could come out of nowhere. Historically, I don't see it happening, but I do get the hope that you have for Orlando. I do. I feel it. I got the hope. I think it's 2 teams to watch. A little bit more relevant teams. No offense. It's a 2-part of this question. I think everybody's eyes needs because the future of the Eastern Conference is with these teams. Boston and the 76ers. 76ers because obviously they moved on from Doc. You got Nick Nurse, not saying anything about that or give my opinion about that. But they're clearly in a transition phase where, Nick Nurse is in the building. You have a big decision with James Harden, okay? And you tell me you don't think Joel Embiid is like watching Jokic right now in the parade and watching him win and having this crazy performance. You don't think he's jealous? Like the same dude he's been compared to for the past 3 years, and you don't think he's itching to get the chance to like actually put something together like Jokic did this year? I think a highly motivated Joel Embiid it's just something to watch. And I think whatever moves they do with the guards, whether it's Harden, actually a play that we about to talk, I think is real important with that. But we'll get to that when we do. I just think that they're in a transition phase right now. Which, I mean, hell, they've been in a transition phase for fucking 5 to 7 years. But that's besides the point. Besides the point.
What are we talking about? The same thing? We're repeating ourselves now? That's what we're doing? Cool.
But they stay relevant, so it's what it is.
They ain't threatening nobody. They ain't threatening nobody.
The pieces change, but they still find a way to be in the Eastern, well, not Eastern Conference, but be up there in the playoffs every year. So it's important. Celtics, number 2 to watch, just because the whole Jaylen Brown saga, and I really want them to put something really around Tatum that complements him, and just see what their team looks like. I'm not sure what they're gonna do, and I think they're just a big wild card. I wouldn't be surprised if that whole team just looks way different, just based on the piece they have. You got Horford, this Asian as hell. I don't know what his contract looks like. I think he got a 2-year. Horford's sister is fine as shit. I saw her on TikTok the other night.
Weak.
But anyway,
yo, send me that link.
I got you. W in chat. Anyways, but that whole team is, I think, gonna look way different. Hell, I mean, even Marcus Smart. Both teams that I mentioned are going through a transition phase. Are going to look way different next year. So that's what I got. Must looks and see what happens. It's either going to be some W moves or some L moves, but either way. All right, last topic for NBA. Fred Van. God, take it away, man. I'm fucking up.
Fred Vanfleet.
Yeah, there you go. That's a lot, bro. Say it 3 times. Say it 3 times.
Entering free agency. I mean, it's news, but it's like, come on, we know you wasn't standing up in no goddamn Toronto. You got your ring out of them. Get out of there, go get your money, and go play somewhere where you can actually build your own legacy in your own name. Because when you won the ring, you was a backup, or you was like you was pushed to the 2, and you was really a backup, and then you started. So I mean, it's a name to watch. I do think it is somebody you can't just look over and be like, oh, he's just a starting point guard. No, he's a little bit above that. Let alone he can shoot that thing. So again, I do think that is a name to watch. I'm hearing Spurs with him. I'm hearing again Magic. I'm hearing possibly Philly. So again, it's wherever the freak he wants to go. He's an unrestricted free agent. He could go wherever the hell he wants. So just something to keep your eye out on.
I mean, I think it's not a major move, but I think it's very important just because Toronto. I think a big point of why he decided to leave or not sign his option is because Nick Nurse left, and I wouldn't be surprised if he followed him to the 76ers. I think if that happened, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but because there was some turbulence between the Raptors players, especially at the end of the season with Nick Nurse, and it kept coming up. So I'm not sure what side Fred's on when it comes to that, but I just think it's big news, man. Drake Jr., you know what I'm saying? He out of Canada. He moving, man. He moving. And he's an underdog, man. His whole career he's been an underdog. So I think him being with a different team, different vibe, I think something beautiful could come from it. I think he's a team first player. Like he puts the team first over, his own success. So I think wherever he goes, I think will be in a good position to be a championship team just because of the type of guy he is and type of player he is.
Agree.
With that being said, we are moving on from the NBA topics. We're going to take a minute for our sponsor, Dreadsock. We're going to let this video play. Stream, don't worry about it. But yes, thank you, Dreadsock, for being number one in hair protection. If you have locks or just protective hairstyles, make sure you check them out. Dreadsock, live on Instagram. Just a great company. I've worked with the company before. They're just amazing. Make sure you check them out. Here's the video. Let it play. All right, we are back from our sponsors. Again, number one in hair protection, Dreadsock. Check them out. We are moving into NFL topics. We don't have a lot, obviously, because it is the off season. First we got up is Stefon Diggs misses one day.
Did you see me flip my hair? You didn't see me flip my hair.
Hey, but if you did, you would wear a dress sock at night when you go to sleep to keep it protected. But yeah, he misses one day of mini camp. Big deal to a lot of people. Not a big deal to some people, but I think it is important. And while we just, what are you hearing? Because I've heard a couple different rumors.
Yeah, it's talking about turmoil over there and all this extra stuff. I think it's nothing. I just think he just missed one day. It was talking about personal reasons why he missed. He's saying it's no big deal. I don't necessarily think it's a big deal. I think it's just the media trying to create something that's not really there. He's going to be there in Buffalo. He knows nowhere else that, not to say he can't go, but he wants to be there. So I overlook it and media overreacting.
I do disagree, only because I try to sympathize with him, just because I'm seeing how DeAndre Hopkins is getting traded, and my buddy's getting flown out to these teams that absolutely want him. Staying a couple nights. You know what I'm saying? He getting catered to, fed. You know what I'm saying? Get put up in a nice place. You know what I'm saying? Go to Tennessee, listen to some country bluegrass ass music. That's what they got to offer.
Morgan Wallen, you feel me?
the only music artist we know. But yeah, Luke Combs. That's how we got.
I listen to my country. Go ahead. I'm getting off topic. My bad.
I think he sees DeAndre Hopkins and how he's getting flown out to these different teams. My Patriots, but he's seeing this treatment that he's getting, and I think he's a little jealous. And the drama I think comes with, because he mentioned Josh Allen when he went on the podcast with Brandon Marshall, and of quarterbacks he wants to play with, and I think that obviously the Bills are like, if they got a chance, yeah, come on in. And I think, him hearing that, I feel like, it's some ego behind it. He wants to be number one. And I think that's the feels behind it. That might not be the only answer, because I do think I think Stefon Diggs is obviously tired of losing in the playoffs in the same fashion that he was losing when he was with.
Has to stop going MIA. The fuck.
the same way he was losing with the Vikings, and I think Josh Allen said, "quote unquote," the organization isn't communicating in the right way, is what he said. Which to me, that's just some corporate bullshit. That we all know what that means. People are in disagreements, and things got to get sorted out. So I do think it's a big thing. He's obviously going to be with the Bills. I don't think he's trying to leave or go to a different team. But I think that you start to see this little trail of unhappiness, right? Mm-hmm. You saw this in the playoffs at times. He was pissed off at Josh Allen. And understandably why, because in that Cincinnati game, he got 4 catches and he got looked off on that one big play. So I get that.
Get the hell open. What the hell are you bitching for? You're a crybaby. Shut up. Like, get over yourself. Who the hell you think you are? You think you're a top 5 receiver? Boy, you better do something. The fuck?
He ain't far, bro. He ain't far.
He ain't far, but he ain't acting like you top. He ain't acting like it. Act like it. When they need you, show up. You play the same people every year in the playoffs, and you go MIA damn near. You blaming Josh Allen. Yeah, they throw the ball 50 times. Get open. The fuck? It's that simple.
I think it's a lot more complicated than just that. But yes, I think I think he still has the taste in his mouth when he lost when he was with the Vikings, and he felt like he was getting treated as the number 2 compared to Adam Thielen. We all know he should have been the number 1. And that I think that resentment can kind of go from team to team. And he is a shorter guy. And I think, he might have the little man syndrome where he's got the chip on his shoulder and he feels like someone's always trying to double him. And that's just the truth behind it. But I get what you mean. Like, you want him to show up in those moments. I think he did, just for whatever happened when you play for a team, like, shit happens and you just gotta be cool with it. Like, things aren't gonna go how you want them to go. Like, obviously in a dream scenario, Stefon Diggs is catching the game-winning touchdown in that playoff game versus Cincinnati, but it just don't happen like that. So you just gotta take it for what it is and not take it personal. That's how I see it.
I've got one career highlight, and apparently he's a freaking beast that demands the ball and shit. These people kill me.
He is that guy in Buffalo, though, because be honest, if they didn't have him, who they got? Gabe Davis, we rocking with him all season, just him? No. So they definitely need him. You definitely need him.
You're playing with Josh Allen, he can make you into a freaking Pro Bowl wide receiver. That's hands down.
I'm a little bit more reserved on Josh Allen, but go ahead. Go off. Hey, next we got the Browns logo. To me, it looks like Browns. It looks like shit. It look like I'm just playing.
Fire! This shit is some NFL street shit. I'm gonna put it up on the stream for y'all so y'all can see. This shit is fire. Fuck is he talking about?
You didn't let me finish. Fire. Damn, cuz you didn't let me fucking finish, bitch. I want that.
It don't matter. That shit is fire. Fuck what he talking about. Fire. NFL street. They could fuck around. Man, that shit. That shit dope.
I feel like they had a competition apparently, and that was chosen out of like 4 others. But this is my problem with it: is only the dog logo. So we never gonna see this shit. We never gonna see this fucking logo ever. It's not the main logo. It needs to be the main logo. It needs to be on the side of the helmet, not just some bullshit orange. Like, people don't want to see that bullshit orange, man. We want to see that shit slapped on the side of the helmet, and like them actually be some dogs and not some bullshit orange, man.
You know, people stuck in their traditional ways and shit. The traditions are repeated. Like Jim Brown, they want to show respect and they wore it, so they gonna keep to that. But I get what you mean. I want to see that dog on that logo. Can you imagine that shit with the brown with the orange face, man? That shit would be fire. What the fuck is he talking about?
To me, what's funny is that like everybody want to make it so much deeper. Like they broke down like the pieces of the logo and what it stands for. No one gives a fuck about Cleveland like that. No one cares about Cleveland like that. We want to see a bomb ass logo. We want to see a fire ass logo. And instead, y'all trying to break all the meaning of, this monument. Like, no one cares. We want to see some dogs out there on the field looking like some dogs. Like, that's what we want to see. Look, and we got some bullshit, man. Bullshit.
Last time I checked, if you look good, you play good. And if you got a good logo, if you out there like Atlanta, they out there trying to look like the fucking Mean Machines and shit. They out there they trying to look fire. You look good, you play good. And I think this is a start for them. That's all I'm gonna say. I think it's a start.
All right, Dion. Let's what you got for the last subject we got going on?
Your NFL team to watch on the off season.
You go first. Go ahead. Wait. To watch the off season or the whole season? What are we talking about?
I mean, if you say the whole season, I'm gonna go Denver. I think.
Man, no one gives a fuck. No, we not about to do
be
this.
out here letting Russell cook. You feel me?
We not about to do that.
God.
We not.
Who's your quarterback? Who?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm fucking with you, bro. You're not gonna hear me debate you, son, about fucking bullshit ass Mac Jones. Like, but anyway, just go ahead. That's why you think I'm looking forward to my fucking team. No, I know they're gonna suck. I know they're gonna fucking beat some ass. I know this. All right, even if we do get DeAndre Hopkins and pay this man what 12, 13, $20 million a year, I know this.
You're too old for that. But now
I know this.
My team to watch for the season though, for real, would be Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Trevor Sunshine Lawrence is a freaking beast. I think he's finally getting the credit he deserves, but I mean he had to put it on the field and show it. And I think now that their team, they got a wide receiver back and Calvin Ridley after those little gambling issues and all that, I think they will be a team to watch. I think they're no joke. They're here to stay. They're gonna win their division. I think in general they're gonna be here for a while. So get used to seeing them, and this is just the start of it for Sunshine.
Bro, I absolutely agree with you, man. I don't. God damn, son, you stole my fucking answer. I think the team we need to really, I would say, look forward to watching. I would say the Chargers. I'm not saying they're gonna have like this crazy success, but we finally have a quarterback who everybody's been saying is underrated, or or one of the best. And they kept saying, "Oh, he doesn't have any weapons." Well, they just drafted him. The receiver that they wanted, right? Mm-hmm. Not speaking on him. I'm not speaking on him. But they got him weapons, right? You still have mostly the same weapons from last year, but he to me is a make or break. Like this has to be it. This has to be it for the Chargers, or else you're getting rid of your coach, right? I think what you should have been doing is taking these older receivers out, all right? Keenan Allen, I would have just started fresh, and fuck your number 2 because he sucks. Everybody scream, oh, he's great at catching the long ball and jump balls. He's amazing. Like bro's always hurt because he's jumping for these and fucking back issues and shit and fucking Wallace, man. Tripping. But yeah, Chargers make a break for me. I think you just gotta keep an eye on them, and if they have some early success and they got it going, I wouldn't be surprised. But they're in just a make or break type of year, just because of excuses from that fan base. So that's what I got.
All right.
Yeah. With that being said, we are gonna wrap up. Before we do that, though, we are streaming on YouTube Live and Kick every Thursday at 7:00. Unless we have some technical difficulties like we did today. But we got you for the most part. We're going to be a lot better on it. But just make sure you tune in. Check us out streaming. I appreciate the streamers that we had on today. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. I want to keep that up because we really appreciate you guys. And to me, it was so much of a better show because we had you guys giving, feedback, putback. Absolutely love it. The second thing is, make sure you go watch the full video on YouTube or Spotify, whichever one you really mess with. If you just want to hear the audio, you can Spotify and wherever you listen to your other podcasts from. But we are definitely putting this information out. And with that being said, man, I appreciate and love you guys. Trey, you got any last messages?
Nah, just continue to spread the word. Appreciate everybody that did come through, like or dislike the video. Again, feedback is very important to us. It starts with you guys. And again, tell whoever, your sister, your brother, your grandma, your church member, your who and whatever that is willing to watch us and listen. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if anything, like, I know everybody wants to talk about likes and comments. Like, we want to engage with you guys. But what helps the most is sharing content. So the more people the more shares you hit, the more people actually sees us. And that's what we want to do. We want to grow this fan base. Not the most important, because I done said most important about 15 times. But the last part is thank you to our sponsors, Sonorous Wave and Dreadsock. We appreciate you guys for helping us make this happen. Again, thank the fan base too. Thank you guys. With that being said, we out.